ready for this?
Voices of Victory Podcast Show. Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory. Voices of Victory Podcast Show.
There's now time for the Voices of Victory Podcast Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mario Delia.
And welcome to Voices of Victory podcast with Mario DeLeone. That's me, people. That's me. Today, we're going to be diving into a very juicy and enjoyable topic. It's one of my favorite topics to discuss. It's called projection. You heard it. Projection. No, not the kind where you project a movie onto a screen, but the kind where people that you speak to on a daily basis are constantly trying to project something onto you or project something into you, inside of your self-worth. They try to toss their own insecurities and emotional baggage and crap on you. Although, a movie projection can be understood as maybe a metaphor in this situation to help you understand this concept, except you're the screen and your inner self-worth and the inside of who you are is the screen. We're going to talk about how projection plays a role. It plays a role in bullying and how having a solid self-esteem is indeed your best defense and how you can turn your projection into a secret weapon for your own personal growth. It's really aimed towards yourself. It's kind of like interpreting some of those values and projecting that back out into the world. So what's the deal with projection? Let's break it down. Let's fully understand that people will dump their very emotions, fears, and insecurities onto someone else. And we even see projection in the media. We see projection in sales. We see projection on the bumper sticker because it's projecting an idea out into the world. And it's not that people are talking to you. They're speaking into you, into your identity, into your self-worth, trying to mess with who you are, trying to pick apart what makes you you and the structure and foundation of your identity and who you are. Imagine somebody just shoving their emotional baggage and garbage into your backpack and saying, hey, carry this. It's good for you. I'll say, I'm sorry. No, thank you. I've got enough there, buddy. I don't need any more. Life's hard as it is. And we got to deal with people projecting their crap every single day. Now, I'm projecting knowledge. And that's going to be the most important type. Because projection in bullying is one of the go-to moves in the bully playbook. Instead of owning their own garbage and taking accountability for their own stuff, they project it onto somebody else. That's why people need you to fail, because it proves that they can't do it. So they project their failures onto you, their insecurities onto you. You'll hear some of the most classic lines. Oh, you're just like everybody else. What makes you think you could do a podcast? I feel unimportant, so I'm just going to make you feel that way as well. Or here's a good one. Oh, you're weak, because deep down inside, they're the ones that are actually struggling with their own weakness, and they have to project that onto you. Or even, no one cares about you. Right? We've heard people say that. No one cares about you. Because maybe they feel invisible and misery loves company. At the end of the day. It's like somebody trying to play a game of emotional Jenga with you. Except it's their job to pick apart your identity, pick the blocks down from below so it collapses. Except what they're trying to do is stack their crap and insecurity on top of your tower that you've been trying to develop and the identity and quality of who you are, hoping that you crash and fall down. That's the reality we're faced with. We have to develop strong self-esteem. And we have to shield against projections. Because they're coming from the media, they're coming from bumper stickers, social media, everywhere. The secret sauce is developing a strong self-esteem. It is like your suit of armor that's going to protect you against from the projections of other people. And when you figure out who you are, when you figure out your identity, and when your identity is solid and you stand in your power with that, and you identify your self-worth, when you understand it's non-negotiable, you can spot a projection from a mile away. And people will say, oh, that's not my issue. That's your stuff. Nice try, pal. Nice try. So projection doesn't stick when you got a clear sense of who you are. Because it won't always be one person. It could be a collective group that attacks you. But it's like trying to stick duct tape to a Teflon pan. Good luck with that. It's not happening. So how do we defend against projections? How can we step into that? Well, self-aware is a big part of it. You need to know yourself deeply, so well that you can tell when someone else is tossing their emotional junk at you. Maybe even trying to tear your values apart because they want to sell you something or sell you an idea. On this podcast, I'm here to provide knowledge to help people develop. It's a take it or leave it ability. And we have to practice that assertive communication, set those boundaries. I'm not here for your projections. I'm good. Thank you. Please understand, it's not about you. It's more about them than it is you. And projections are more about the person that's projecting them than it is about you at all. They're deflecting. They're deflecting their own internal chaos, their own internal accountability onto you, and it's nothing personal. Believe it or not, it can be taken personal if you attach it to your identity. Anything you attach to your self-worth and self-esteem could be damaging. So when you're secure in your self-worth, you realize that their opinion of you is none of your business. That the thoughts that other people have in their heads and the narratives that they have in their heads is more about them than it is you. And there's many faces to projection. They use it for all sorts of wild reasons. Manipulation, deflection of their own accountability and responsibility, or just to confuse you or annoy you or throw a rock into your Jenga pile. They project because they're jealous. Again, it shows that they can't do it. It's upsetting them. Sometimes it's because they're afraid. Maybe they don't want to deal with their own stuff. And that's the thing. When you rise above, when you grow past other people, it could threaten their identity and throw them off. So it becomes more about them and their emotional baggage and how they project it back to you. Now, there is a positive side to projection. You might be saying, what do you mean? It can actually be good? Yeah, absolutely it can. You heard that right. You heard that correct. It can be. We project positive visions, goals, dreams, aspirations into the outside world, putting our efforts where they belong. And that key is that we have to share that vision transparently and not impose it on other people. Matter of fact, a lot of people who like to give advice, especially when it's not asked, usually it's a projection. I have been guilty of this. It sucks. It's not worth it, and I try to recognize it for what it's worth and try to avoid it from now on. So when you project a vision with the clarity and integrity, you're saying, here's where I am, this is who I am, this is where I'm going, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. But no pressure. I just want you to enjoy this with me. I'm just putting it out there. And that's the magic of a positive, strong projection. It's like showing people the direction you're walking in without trying to drag them along in your backpack and stuff away their emotional baggage into your own backpack. So as a leader, you're going to have to project, and you're going to have to do it wisely with love and strength and boundaries. Transparency. Because the beauty of that projection is that you remain transparent as a leader. Not trying to control, not trying to manipulate, not trying to be a narcissist. Okay? You're not trying to control anyone. You're simply sharing what matters to you as a leader. You may have to project the vision and goals of the organization and of the team. And understand that it's a collective. And that we all can make a difference together. Think of it as showing somebody your treasure map. This is the vision I have. This is where we want to go. And this is what we could do. Walk the path with me. I ask you. And you don't have to. You can simply go your own path. And that's no big deal. We could part ways and still be caring. It's okay. It's all about authenticity, and that means not hiding who you are. Stop preventing yourself from shining. It's not about shoving your dreams down somebody's throat. You're inviting them to see your journey and give them an option to choose whether they want to be a part of it and walk with you, and that's okay. It's recognizing your own projections. It's a game changer. When you understand your own, we stop being the person that falls into the collective and we start empowering ourselves so we can empower other people. We're a part of that collective, but in terms of leadership, we have to be able to have vision to lead them and take them where they need to go. We need to recognize when other people are projecting negatively or positively and give them that choice. They let us choose how to respond. Look at interviews. Nowadays, interviews are just nothing but when one interviewer wants to attack another, they project into that person. They twist their words up. It forces you to take responsibility for your own projections. So are you projecting your insecurities? It's a big question. We have to check ourselves, keep ourselves in check, and course correct where necessary. So, at the end of the day, projections, when they're negative, when they're destructive, and when they're an emotional equivalent of somebody dumping their baggage onto you, it's going to be a strong self-esteem that is your secret weapon. It keeps you solid when others try to shake your identity with their own baggage and projections. Do not be afraid to have the courage to be disliked. And that is a very good book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. When we have positive projections, it's about sharing your vision transparently and inviting other people to join you without pressure, without manipulation. It's an invitation. So, at the end of the day, whether it's a projection of negativity or positivity, and understand that neutral is also healthy in this mix, owning your sense of self is valuable. Why? Because it allows you to step into your power and choose how you wish to respond, how you interpret it. You control what things mean to you. You have that control. We've lost sight of that phrase because we've fallen victim to our knee-jerk conditioned reactions. And people can project their egos onto other people, project their belief systems, try to change you, try to force their belief system down your throat because they feel that they have your best interest in mind. And as a leader, you should have their best interest in mind. And sometimes people mean well, and that's why we have a lot of these misunderstandings. Because some people have a hidden agenda, or at least an agenda that's backed with some kind of belief system of sort. Understand that everything that is here today, that is being shared with you, is a form of my expression. And I only want to share it to help you grow. It's still a take it or leave it at the end of the day. And that's okay. I don't get hurt by it. You know, if this is value, take what's useful, throw away what's not. That's okay. And make sure you subscribe to this podcast, share it with anybody you know. Thank you for tuning into my podcast, and have a great day. I'm going to see you on the next episode. And don't forget to check out my book on Amazon titled Leader Up by Mario De Leone, which, by the way, I use voice dictation for everything I do. I love, I have a Mac and I love using voice dictation. It's such a tool to not only write, but also be able to, create a book and do all kinds of different things. So enjoy your day and thank you. And I'll see you on the next episode. Have a good day.